Hi guys, it's Natalie. Today I'll be coloring this face for you guys, and I'll be using Prismacolor colored pencils. They come in a package like this if you see them at the craft store, and you can also find them on Amazon. I highly recommend these pencils. They're super great. However, they are a little expensive, but they are the best. So let's get started. Okay, hold on. Whoops, I dropped my sharpener. I hope the video is upright and not sideways. If it's sideways, please let me know and I can fix that. So I'm going to start as usual by erasing some of the pencil lines just because they blend in with the color pencil and it creates that gross kind of dingy color. It's not the color I want. Alright, after a little cleanup, I'm going to come in with the white and color in the lightest spots on the face, such as this area on the forehead, the nose, the upper cheeks, and the chin. And whenever I color faces, I always use a circular motion most of the time because of, well, I mean not always, but I try to always use a circular motion because it creates the smoothest texture, whereas going back and forth vertically or horizontally, that can create a rough texture. However, it's really good for clothing and hair. Or if you're coloring in a large area, it might be easy to do left and right. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, and I will try to answer all of them. Okay, to answer Nicole, I am 16 years old. Oh, to Jay, that is so true that you'll see real flaws in drawings if you put them up to a mirror. I've done that a few times after I finish something and I just think, wow, that's crazy. But it's really funny you mentioned that. I haven't heard anyone say that before, but it's something that I've noticed. It's probably, one thing I thought about doing was like right before I finalize a sketch for coloring, I hold it up to a mirror and then make fine adjustments. I think that'd be nice, but I always forget to. Forgot to erase this. Okay, so after that I am going to find some of my flesh tones and start using those. Just let me dig through my pencil stash right now. Okay, so I'm going to begin with this color, which is light peach. It's a very light color, which it's probably a step down from white, but in the fleshy realm. So I'll be using that. A lot of times I'm going to be going over the white with this color because the white underneath it will make the layer above it so much brighter. So I'll be doing that. And with this I'll be coloring a lot of large areas. Oops, gotta sharpen this. To Timothy, the paper that I'm using is toned gray paper by Strathmore. It's a unique type of paper and it makes colored pencils pop out a lot more than on white paper, in my opinion. To Becky, so are they sold in one pack or do you buy them separately? These pencils, you can buy them in a package or separately. If you want to buy them in a package, this is an example of one of the packages. You can buy them in 24 and 48. And I believe they have larger varieties as well, but typically you'll always find them in a tin, or at craft stores you can purchase them individually. You'll find a little rack where in each little cubby within the rack there will be a different color. It's cheapest to buy them in a set though, but if you're just getting into it, I would recommend starting with a few of them. Okay, so after adding down a base light color, I'll be moving to some of the darker tones to help create the shading. I'm going to start in the darker areas with this darker brown. This is light umber, but it's definitely darker than the current colors I have applied. And I don't have the blending pencil for this, but what I do use to blend my colored pencils is a gum eraser. This one is from Prismacolor. I remember I saw these a long time ago in my art classes, and I didn't like them because they'd always smudge my pencil. They wouldn't really erase, but then my friend told me that they actually blend colored pencil together, which is an interesting discovery. I use it now. It's kind of neat. I don't really know what they're supposed to be used for, because I've only seen them in art classrooms. I've never read about them or anything. Oops. I think I left a little bit too much pencil underneath the color here. It kind of smudged, but that's okay. I can fix it. But one of the best ways to blend other colors with each other is just by applying the previous shade of color on top of the newly applied one. Like, for example, I'm going back over this darker brown with my lighter peach color, and it helps blend it together. I'm going back in with the light umber just to solidify the color, and then I'll blend it again. Sometimes whenever you're shading, it can be a repetition of that process, just applying one color and shading it over again. And then, of course, like, shade with multiple colors, especially with skin, because there's a lot of variance in human skin tones. So now I'm using Sienna Brown. Sienna Brown is a slightly reddish brown, and it just adds more color to the face. Because in many skin tones you can find a lot of red in shaded areas because of the blood that's behind your skin. It causes your skin to be a little red looking, and it's kind of cool. Someone asks, do you think Prismacolor is the greatest brand? I would say for colored pencils, Prismacolor is the greatest brand. Although I haven't tried too many other brands of colored pencil, I'd say that Prismacolor is the best, from what I know. But who knows, maybe there's like this hidden colored pencil brand that's really good but no one knows about it. But I doubt it. Prismacolor is pretty good. To Haley, what are your reasons? Oops, the comment disappeared. What are your reasons for picking these colored pencils over other brands? Prismacolors, out of all the other colored pencil brands that I've tried, they blend the best. And that's what's really important to me whenever I color things, because I like to color things that blend well with each other and I can create a smooth image. So Prismacolor has really helped me achieve that. Okay, whenever coloring, one thing that you can do to help put the same, like to darken the entire region or just change the shade slightly, is just to lightly brush over it with the pencil where the lines are very close to each other. Don't go too dark, but just very lightly. And then after that, you can go over it with a lighter color and it will blend those lines in with each other to where you won't even be able to see them, but it will instantly change the color, which is pretty neat because the skin was too light from what I imagined it to be, so I just applied a layer of narrow lines and then I blended it in. I need to sharpen this. Yeah, if you guys see my hands go off the page, I'm 99% sure that I'll be sharpening something, so don't worry. Okay. So in this I kind of started at the forehead, and with the shading I'll be moving downwards. However, whenever you're doing this, you can start from anywhere. It doesn't really matter. It's just where I happen to start. And that narrow line trick that I talked about earlier, I'm going to be applying that to the entire face, where I lightly brush over the surface, and then I come back in with this and blend it. Whoops, wrong color. And for the nostril, I'm going to be coming in with a black pencil so I can make it black because it's always really dark and black is the way to achieve this. So I'm going to do that real quickly. The black will be back though whenever I want to do additional shading because the parts where the hair shadows over the face will be very dark, so I'll have to use the black for that. Nicole in the comments brought up a really good point that you can use alcohol and a Q-tip to blend. I've done that before with colored pencils. It does work. I haven't done it much though. I'd like to experiment more with it. Another thing that you can use is coconut oil. Like, you know, you buy it in a jar at the store, that kind of stuff. It works really well with shading. However, keep in mind you do need to let it dry. I did it in a sketchbook once and I closed the sketchbook foolishly and some of the color went onto the other side of the page, but that's okay because it was a blank page. But coconut oil does work and it smells good. Okay, for additional shading, I'm going to be using some black right here, just to give it some more depth. And right where the eyelid folds over, I'll be using black there as well. I typically always do this with my portraits that I draw. Right there. Then I blend it, of course. Okay, I'm going to begin on the eyes right now. What I always do first is I color the eyeball with white. This part always makes the drawing pop out a little bit. Eyes are typically my most favorite part to color. Okay, I'll be using an ink pen for the eyelashes just because ink pens are easier to draw eyelashes with and it's really dark, so it works out well. The ink pens I'm using, by the way, these are Copic multi-liners. They're ink pens by Copic. These are, okay, the labeling wore off so I can't show it to you because these are really old, but any ink pen works just fine for things like this. A brand that I like to use is Micron. Micron makes really good ink pens, but these work just as well. I forgot to blend in this black right here for the nose shading, so I'll do that real quickly before I go back to the eyes. Okay, I haven't thought about eye color for this, so you guys in the comments, quickly, tell me what color should the eyes be. Quick, quick, quick. Let me see a color. Eye color. Someone. Blue. Okay, this is the first one I saw. So here I have peacock blue. I'll come in with that color right here. Oops, it broke. To sharpen it. And the bottom of the eye, I'm gonna color white first, and then I'll add blue on top of it, just to make it a lighter color. Since the eyes are so small, it's important just to do simple shading and simple details. However, if you're drawing eyes up close, there's so much more detail that goes into the eye. If you want to see an example of coloring an eye, I previously made a live stream on Quirky Mama about that, so you should go check that out sometime. I believe if you go to the videos tab on Quirky Mama, there should be a section that's titled Coloring with Natalie. The eye video will be under there. And I'm going to add some gray to the eyeball right here. Unfortunately, it's not showing up that much because there's not a lot of space to color, but once I add some black, I can create a more noticeable gray. This is just to shade it and give it some more depth. Just a second, I need to sharpen something. Okay, back. Okay, I'm going to color the top of the eyelid right here. Let's see, what am I looking for? I'm trying to find a pink color to color in the top of the eyelid, but I can't find it. Hold on. Okay, I found it. Here we go. And I'm going to be drawing the lower eyelashes. Now let me use a thinner ink pen for that. Whenever you draw eyelashes, okay, right now it can be really difficult to see them because they're so tiny, but whenever you're drawing eyelashes, make quick strokes where you apply a little bit of pressure at the beginning, but then you quickly remove it from the page. Eyelashes, if you draw them that way, they look realistic and it's really cool. Again, the eyes in this picture are really tiny, but you can find a video of me coloring a larger eye on the Quirky Mama page. Okay, it's gonna be kind of difficult to do it. Okay, usually whenever I draw, I'll turn my page in all sorts of angles, but I can't do that right now because I'm in this little box. Well, I mean, I'm not in the box, but my hand is in the box because my portrait is. So, there we go. Right now, I'll be adding the reflections onto the eye. This is my favorite part. I'm going to be using white acrylic paint for this. So, let me get that ready. Usually whenever I use a small amount of paint, I'll just pour a little bit of it into the lid and okay, let's see, I'm trying to decide on where I want, hold on. Before I add the paint, I want to put some more black right here. Okay. So just little dots of white will do the trick. And a little dot of white can go a long way because it just makes the eyes pop out. And I love doing that. It's one of my favorite parts of coloring any portrait. Just like that. Someone asks, what are you using on the eyelashes? For the eyelashes, I just used Copic multi-liners. These are just regular ink pens. I don't have the label on it because it rubbed off over time, but just an ink pen. Okay, now I'm going to move over to the lips. The lips, I'm using a variety of colors. Let's see, where is it? Missing a color. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to start with this peach color. Oops, I forgot to erase some of the pencil. Do that right now. Okay, there's the base coat for that, and before I add more of a reddish color in there, I'll be shading it slightly with a brown. Now whenever I draw just ordinary portraits, typically the upper lip is a darker color than the bottom lip. Just by doing that you can make a portrait look really good, I think. I mean, I've done this before, like I've drawn a portrait in my sketchbook and I would shade in the upper lip to a darker color and it just looked really nice. Here. Just some red, just give it a little bit more color. It's important not to overdo it with a specific color whenever you're coloring lips because it can be too overpowering, but if you want to give your drawing bright red lipstick, that's cool. But if you're going for a natural tone, be very careful whenever you're applying a different color, such as red or pink. And I'm going to blend in that red with the peach color again. Just like that. And I'll do the same for the bottom right here to give it some roundish shape. Would you guys like to see a video of coloring lips up close? I haven't done that before and I think it'd be really cool. I've done a up close eye video. I think I should probably do some for different facial features, although an up close nose isn't as exciting as eyes in my opinion. Okay, and for the corners of the lips, I'll be coming in with a black colored pencil to make it more obvious. And the lip line, oh, oops, hold on, I accidentally went off the line, but just a little bit of black to make it contrast a bit more. So I have that. Oh, I forgot to color the neck. That's okay, I can do that quickly. That's one thing I forget to do a lot of times while I'm coloring a face, is I'll completely neglect the neck. If you're coloring, just remember the neck exists. So, I don't think I mentioned it yet in this video, but if you guys want to see more of my artwork, please check out my Instagram. The link to that is in the description of this video. Hopefully you can find it. If you have any questions or if you're interested in purchasing or getting a commission done, just please send me a private message on Instagram and I will respond to you. Okay, this is a little dark right here. Okay, right now I'll be starting on the hair. Typically I color the hair with a solid color just because that's how I like to do things. I usually color hair really flowy and kind of almost surreal-like. This one will be a solid color, but I will add some degree of shading. I found this brown color in my bucket of paints earlier. I haven't used it in a while and I thought, might as well. Whoops, oh, the lid just flew across the page. But, ooh, this is metallic brown. Okay, this will be really interesting. I didn't expect that, but I'll be using it. This might look really cool, actually. Okay, yeah, I really like this metallic. I don't know how it looks on your guys' screen, but it looks really pretty in person. Okay, I'm looking up at my phone screen and it looks kind of gold. Hold on, let me see what the tube said. This is, okay, the color just says brown, but it does say metallic right here. I guess I didn't read that, but it definitely looks brown. Here on the screen that I'm looking at, it looks gold, but either way, that's kind of cool. Oops. Okay, before I paint the left side of the hair, I'm going to erase some of the lines. It's got a little crazy right here. Yeah, this really does look blonde on the phone screen, but it's really weird because on my paper it just looks brown. But again, it's the lighting because my head is at a different angle than the camera is on the page, so I see it reflecting the light differently, and that's how metallics work. But I guess either way, it's kind of cool. After I finish the hair, I'll try to adjust the camera at a different angle because one of you wanted to see the brown, so I think it'd be cool because I kind of like it with the brown, but the gold does look cool as well. Can't forget the eyebrows. Another reminder after reading some of these comments, if you guys are interested in purchasing any of my artwork, please contact me on Instagram through direct message and I can work it out with you. Also, just follow me on Instagram because you can see a lot of the other things I do. Okay, after applying the brown, let me adjust it. Okay, yeah, at this angle it looks brown, but the face is all scrunched out. See, there's brown. But from the angle that the camera is naturally rested, it does look gold. Hold on. Right here, I'm going to draw some of the clothes. On this whenever I sketched it, I planned on giving her a striped shirt. I personally love striped shirts. They're my favorite. And they're fun to draw. Because I get to use the white color on the tone gray paper, and that's always exciting for me. If you guys haven't used tone gray paper with a white colored pencil, you should. It's pretty fun. And right now I'm just adjusting some of the shading and adding a little bit more in places that I thought could use some touch-up. grabbing the wrong color. But I'm almost done with this. Like I said, I'm just doing some finishing touches right now. I think I'm going to touch up on the eyebrows. It's a little bit more paint because you can still see through them. And it might look kind of weird on the screen since you are seeing it at the shiny angle where it looks almost gold. But from my angle, it definitely looks brown. Alright, I am done with this picture. I'm going to tilt it one last time for you guys to see if you can see the brown. Let me try this. Okay, it's really hard to see on the camera. Maybe if I adjust the lighting. Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, you guys don't get to see the full extent of the brown, but that's okay. You guys saw it as gold. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I had a lot of fun doing this. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, follow me on Instagram to see some more of my work, and if you have inquiries about a commission or purchasing my work, please send me a message. Bye!